Like,
plural version of it.
like, have you ever seen a
Meth
meth
is the
nipple?
singular and the plural.
It's normally heathen.
Or specifically, the plural would be methamphetamines, but no one wants to say that much. So you would say, I want more meth.
I want one additional meth.
I wouldn't say that personally, but go
Hey
off, I
everybody,
guess.
welcome to the stream. My name is Orange.
We're
I hope
they
talking
heard
about
that.
today.
Good
Oh
God.
boy,
You
oh
missed
boy,
our
oh
whole
boy, oh
conversation
boy.
about how to become the king of coyotes through meth.
Boy has been averted.
Currently a
It's now just
stage
orange.
1 felony controlled substance. Methamphetamine is illegal in all states of the United States of America.
It's fine.
Alright,
I'm also
Which is
illegal
what
in the
makes
rest
it
one
the
of the
most
states.
fun.
Remember, guys, don't be a fucking narc.
Alright
Jesus
everybody, come on.
Christ.
If you aren't talking, then mute yourself up. We're trying to set on a pot. Set on a pot.
Set on a pot. Set it on. And also pour water into it. Gather the pieces therefore into it. Even every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder. Fill it with the choice bones. Take the choice of the flock and also burn the bones under it. And make it boil well, and let them seethe the bones of it within therein. Thus saith the Lord, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. I think I got you for the most part with that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Wait, where is she? Where'd she go?
She came down this way. I'm sure of it.
Find her!
Find her! And burn her!
Burn the witch!
Burn the witch!
The witch!
Burn
Burn
the
the
witch!
witch!
Burn the witch! Burn the witch!
And the witch!
Burn her! Burn her! Burn her! Burn her! Burn her!
Burn her!
It's not funny, but it is. Therefore I will leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of heaven to remain upon thee. And I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land, wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains. And the river shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heavens, and make the stars therefore dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven I will make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land. I seem to have lost them. Now, where am I? Where should I go from here? What am I to do? Darkness spreads as far as the eye can see. Not a ray of light shines down upon me. All that strokes my cheeks are tendrils of darkness. Every passing day, every fading hour, my world is engulfed in ebony. There exists no kindness in this shadow, only solitude. I've lost track of how long I've been on the run. Wandering aimlessly, lost until I arrived at this dark forest. I no longer have anywhere to go. O Father, who art in heaven, I kneel to thee within my heart and ask of thee thy blessing. O Father, who art in heaven, I ask of thee to shine thy light upon me and show me the way. Please have mercy upon my soul. O Father, who art in heaven, I do love thee dearly. Hallowed be thy name. Please show me the way. I may be shunned and persecuted, and I may have no place to go. But nevertheless, I am unable to give up on life, to cast aside my hope. O Father, who art in heaven, please guide me unto salvation. O Father, who art in heaven, please guide me. I can no longer remember when my life became naught but running, when it became endless wandering in the dark. And now, when I've reached the point where I've long since forgotten my hunger and thirst, my voice has become hoarse, my vision gone blurry, and my consciousness begun sinking into hazy morass. That mansion appeared before me, wrapped in the morning fog that seemed to foretell rain. The mansion comes into view, like the world fading in after a dream. It doesn't appear as though anyone lives here. All the windows are either boarded up and shuttered, as if it's been long since abandoned. A tower, which seems out of place in a personal residence, stands tall beside the mansion. The whole building seems as though it could disappear with the fog. It has an unwelcoming presence, freezing me in my tracks. However, if this is where you have led me, then I shall follow your guidance. Having nowhere else to go, this mansion is my only salvation. The light that guides my way. And so I must have faith no matter what I find. Whether spirits or wild beasts dwell within these walls, that this is where I will find peace. Is anyone there? I guess it is abandoned. That makes sense. It would be more unusual for someone to be living in a house so deep in the woods, so far from civilization, like it's been forgotten to time. I cannot imagine anyone spending their days here. I place my hand on the front door. What if I can't get in? I very much doubt I'll find anywhere else to stay wandering through the woods. If the door doesn't open, then I'll die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I'm not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. The door's heavy, and though it seems to protest my attempts to enter, it still opens much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I get the strangest impression light is being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it feels as though I'm about to step outside of the boundaries of this world. When I close the door, it's so dark I can't even tell where I'm walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to a window, it's tightly shuttered, and the shutters are caked with rust. I'm probably not getting it open without a fight. If only I had some source of light. I can't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It feels like the floor will fall out from under me, and I'll sink into eternal darkness if I don't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walk forward, tracing the walls with my hand. There's a door at the end of the long corridor. I pull it open and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushes past me. It's too dark to see anything, but I can feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness grips me. Is anybody here? My voice simply disappears into the void. No response. I'm pushing forward through the freezing air. For a split second, the stream froze.
Yep, give it a second. Sorry, everybody. Just give it 1 second. Okay. Oh no. Oh. Hey, buddy. All right. Well, there we go. All right, we're good. Oh shit.
Oh
No, we aren't.
Psych.
The stream is over. Everybody go home.
They
No.
zagged on you.
Don't actually go home. The game,
going home would not be a good
the
idea.
game capture fucking.
That's what
crashed
happens
on
when you
our
simp for a
end.
witch.
Yes.
Shit.
Don't let that witch.
This is what happens when you use Discord. Just bugs happen.
Let's
Yeah,
just
we
kinda
should
go
all go
ahead
back
and
to Skype calls.
okay. All right, nothing's breaking. All right, cool. Resuming.
All right.
Atmosphere continue. Atmosphere continue.
As I'm pushing forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spot a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I'm able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it's not shuttered, but covered by drapes. My chances are slim, I imagine, but if there's even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it's worth a shot. So I pull open the drapes. The next moment, faint but colorful light shines down upon me. It's a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. I guess it's finally started. The different colors of light blend into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's gorgeous. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be...
Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows.
Suddenly, I hear a voice, and I can sense someone else in the room. The man's voice is emotionless, neither deep nor high. He comes into view, illuminated by a dull orange candlelight. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. The man stands there, practically blending in with the darkness. Has he been there the whole time? He's staring straight at me. His gaze wavers slightly, but not enough for me to read anything into it. The candle in his hand and the light from the stained glass window are the only illumination in the room, neither of which are particularly bright. As a result, his outline is faint and blurred. It gives off the impression that he might vanish entirely between blinks. My apologies. I assumed the house was abandoned.
I suspect you would have preferred it to be abandoned.
Not at all. Is this, do you live in this mansion?
Yes, I have for a very long time. I thought I had barred the front door, but it would seem I had left it open. What brings you here? If you're lost, then I'm happy to give you directions. There's a village west of here. It should take you maybe half a day on foot. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. Trade for food at the village, and then make your way to a larger town.
Please allow me to stay here.
Could you repeat that?
I cannot go to the village. No, I cannot go anywhere. I'm no longer able to freely return to any town. I'm being hunted.
You seem rather young to be a sinner. So you have transgressed.
I'm neither a thief nor an adulterer. If I bear any sin, then it has been with me since birth. I will do everything I can to stay out of your way. I simply ask that you grant me shelter until it all blows over. If you wish to know of my transgression, I will tell you. So please, do not throw me out.
I see. And you ask this of me aware of how people refer to this mansion.
Pardon?
It is said that a witch once lived in this house. And not just any witch. A cursed witch. This house had been tainted by her seething hatred, and all who dwell within it meet their demise.
But you live here, don't you?
Like her, I too am cursed.
Huh? What kind of curse?
The one thing I can tell you is that your life is in danger if you get involved with me. Should you approach my curse, I am likely to take your life.
You'll kill me.
Yes, so you do not belong here. To live with me in this mansion is to sentence yourself to death.
No matter what path I choose, I very much doubt I have a future. And if that's the case, then I shall live how I want. I don't care what people say about you or this mansion. I wish to stay here. You might think I'm rather strange, but my heart tells me that I must stay here. That I was guided here. And hearing what you have to say only reinforces that.
What are you scheming?
I'm not scheming anything. I'm simply tired of running. So if your curse is going to kill me, then perhaps that's for the best. At the very least, you won't be hunting me. You won't try to flay me or tear off my arms or rip the flesh from my bones. And that's enough for me.
If you have committed no sin, then why do they hunt you so fervently?
I am accused of being a witch. Master? My lifeblood was your sustenance, your prosperity. Upon my blood did you build your lives. A sin so great it shall never be forgiven. And by my blood your lives were extinguished. This is the power granted unto me by God. My blood shall become a curse, blotting out the stars. I am the witch Morgana. Now let us begin a tale, a beautiful finale to this world. Please wake up, return to me. Have you come to, Master? I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. It must have given you quite the scare. But I beg your forgiveness. I had a terrible screaming from down the stairs and I panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl. I see. So you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I'm deeply relieved that I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you've already grown familiar with the atmosphere of this time period, Master? If you have seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused, and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. It was, again, her appearance that brought this upon her. That snow-white hair and those ruby-red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else. Oh, and I apologize. I neglected to mention that this door is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed through. One difference in this time period. The tales I have shown you began with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition. Proceeding in chronological order. However, the door we have just entered takes us to a period now known as the Middle Ages, long, long before the other three tales. Yes, that is correct. This is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known. If, after this tale, you are still unable to reclaim your old self, then there is nothing more I can do. This door contains the last tale I'm able to tell you. So I ask of you, please do not let go of my hand until it's all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in a mansion of darkness. Oh, I lied.
Oh, you lied? Okay, never mind then. Whoopsies.
In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in darkness. It stood in a dark, overgrown forest. There we go. You have been trapped in perpetual darkness, found light in the same house where I withered away. That light was bestowed upon you by a certain woman, was it not? Leave everything to me, my dear. I promise I shall make this into a most beautiful tale. Yes, I'm giving you special treatment. A rare act of kindness from me, of warmth. You do not wish her to know the truth, and I can make better use of her like this. So it is to both our benefit to rewrite the woman you loved. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl had assumed that nobody lived there. But her guess was incorrect. Someone did indeed dwell in the house. It was a young man named Michel. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man. However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie devised to chase her out of the house? The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Despite Michelle's assertions, the white-haired girl decided she would take up residence within the mansion. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens, young enough to be seen as still a child. But she was neither as self-centered nor irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and a sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee to this mansion with her life. Now, the white-haired girl thought it would be rude to simply take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master, Michelle, and asked, is there anything I can do to help? I will clean or cook or do anything, just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here.
You need not feel indebted to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn into disdain.
But I can't just stay here and do nothing.
Do whatever you like. As long as
As long as...
you do not enter my room, that is all I ask of you.
He said emotionlessly, turning away and walking off. Michelle was not, I believe, spurring her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem averse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart. I should still do whatever I can. But she did not let that get her down. In fact, she might have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life. And she was deeply grateful for that. And thus began their quiet life together. Michelle, who avoided contact with others, and the white-haired girl who had taken a great deal of abuse from others. Two people who hardly knew anything about one another, who were too distant to really be said to be living together. Michelle spent most of his day in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Michelle better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed. Why he lived alone in this dark mansion. How many days, how many years he had spent here in solitude. And while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. The first project she set out to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candles. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and considering the poor airflow through the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Still, she persisted, sweeping and wiping things down, one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust that had settled there was much heavier than in any other room. With each breath, she had to fight back coughs. It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight. They're books. Incredible, real books. The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them, but that was the first time she had ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not material one could easily acquire without some degree of social rank. Books were not printed with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Even the process of binding was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines. There's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek. Just a tiny little peek, she said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached a hand towards one of the books. A tome that caught her eye was on the upper shelf. It bore gorgeous jade embossing and looked like it belonged in a treasure chest. Almost. Though she tended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe, it was still just barely within reach. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spine, and she began to pull the book towards her. The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together. So when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. And then... Ow! Almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her. Ow. The white-haired girl groaned, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, for the mess was enough of a setback already in an attempt to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume that was almost torn in half. She did not know whether it was in that condition before, or if it had happened in the fall. But nonetheless, she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there unable to get back on her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. Then suddenly a shadow fell over the dejected girl. It took a book in its hand and returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly towards the white-haired girl, then changed course towards another book. It was Michelle. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it. I'm so sorry. Your books,
What were you doing?
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage such precious books.
There's no need to panic.
I'm sorry.
You make it sound as though I'm admonishing you.
What?
Did you want to read a book?
I do, but that's not what I originally came here to clean.
Clean?
Yes, I felt guilty simply being idle.
I did say you could do as you pleased, but you have no responsibility to clean anything.
I just ended up making a bigger mess anyway. I'm sorry.
You needn't apologize.
Okay.
If you want to read, help yourself to any of the books.
But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty, so I wanted to hold it.
You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, then by all means.
These are all your books, aren't they?
They are.
That's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all.
1 per month.
What?
My family sends me one every month.
Every month? The white-haired girl turned her gaze back towards the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived there in solitude for many years. She was at a loss for words.
They're dull tomes. Dreadfully inoffensive and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decoration is all they're good for.
I see.
If you can put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I am going to return to my room. Don't feel obligated to clean up.
Just a minute.
Was there something else?
Could you tell me your name? I just realized I never asked for your name. Not knowing what to call you will make conversation awkward.
Oops. You don't need my name to...
I want to, though.
Michelle.
Michelle, like the Archangel. The name suits you quite well.
It suits me.
It does. Although it's difficult to see you in the dark. You seem to be a very handsome man, befitting of your name.
I beg to differ. Giving me his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel is probably rather annoyed by it.
I don't know. I think it's a wonderful name.
And your...
Hmm?
No, never mind.
Oh, my name. My name is Giselle. Please call me Giselle. Oh, thank goodness.
For what?
That I was able to get your name and talk to you for a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad I got to hear your voice. So very glad.
You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so, and there's no need for you to feel joy about it.
I'm not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing, not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house.
You do not understand me at all. As I said on that first day, my curse will one day kill you.
But I'm still alive, aren't I?
You are welcome to believe I am lying, or that I am merely out of my mind. But it will be too late when you realize the truth.
I'll be fine, I'm sure. And even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Could you possibly be keeping away from me out of concern?
No, I simply have no interest in interacting with anyone.
I would like to interact with you. If you don't mind, that is.
As I told you, you have nothing to gain from that. I have nothing, not even words to give you. My body is but a shell. Even if I were not cursed, my presence would do naught but cause you discomfort.
I don't think that's true. I don't believe that there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing. There's plenty inside you. You simply haven't noticed it yet. And not all of it will only cause others pain either.
If you truly believe those words, then you are a foolhardy girl. How can you trust someone you only just met? For that matter, how to not resent everyone?
Resent them?
I can take a guess as to why people call you a witch, and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Your white hair and red eyes, that abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance, drew their condemnation. And I can think of any number of reasons they might have started treating you less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune, or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague, some kind of external phenomenon, and you were their scapegoat.
Yes, but you are, by and large, correct.
If we missed something, it's long gone by now.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Then that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. I make no claim to having your interests in mind. Goodbye.
If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime?
Did you listen to anything I said?
Yes, I listened. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me, and I don't wish to burden you in any way. I simply wish to be allowed to be at your side. It does not matter to me what kind of person you may be. And that is all I want. I apologize for keeping you. Please consider it if it's not too much trouble. As the master of the house, Michel made his way out of the library. He appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart. Or perhaps it was something else. She stared towards the darkness into which Michel had disappeared. Then she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tome, a soft smile spreading across her lips. He's a decent man. I'm sure of it. We're alike, he and I. And thus began to blossom with her faint sense of fellowship as someone who also knew solitude. Been about a week since the white-haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Staying in that house deprived of light was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. Anyone blessed enough to have sunlight as a part of their everyday lives would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the one place she could find respite. She and Michelle continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of, leaving her unable to close that gap. Nonetheless, on occasion, they did cross paths in the hallway and their eyes would meet, if but briefly. It was never for more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made points of giving him a little smile. He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not even have met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face. Oh, this is trouble. I can't go down to the village, but if we don't do something soon... The cellar was where their food was stored, an assortment of non-perishables and dried foods, smoked meats and cheeses. Her daily meals were taken from the supplies there. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. But Nasta, you know a young, delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food. How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder? From there, the questions about Michelle started rising up in her mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed, surely he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber. But on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance, staring motionlessly at the door lit by a single candle. He appeared to be waiting for something. May I ask you a question?
Go on.
I was just down in the cellar, and I noticed we were running low on food. Do you normally go down to the village to restock?
I haven't been outside in 10 years.
Then how do you...
What if I told you that I don't eat?
What?
That I am not of this world. And as such, I have no need for sustenance. What would you think of that? There we go, I wasn't picking up.
Oh, sorry. That sounds very, economical? If you can survive without having to eat, that's one less thing to worry about. If it were possible, I'd like to have that ability too.
It would seem trying to frighten you is a waste of time.
Oh. Was I supposed to be afraid?
Never mind. It doesn't matter. You must put the food in the cellar. It's going to be about that time. Wait, and you will find out.
What do you...
It's here.
Oh?
If you want to know where my supplies comes from, open the door.
But, I'm in hiding.
There's no one at the door anymore. The knock is nothing more than a signal.
A signal? The white-haired girl turned towards Michelle to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze. Find the answer yourself, he seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door. It's so bright. The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, was so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. Although the sun itself had not gotten any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark, her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. The color of her eyes made them quite sensitive to light already, so when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionless for 10, perhaps 15 seconds, and when her eyes had finally adjusted to the light... What's this? She noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. She turned her head back to ask Michelle about the box, but the mansion was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Michelle from the shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. And the white-haired girl had come to yearn for that world without light more than the one with. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty, bringing it into the house. But eventually, she did manage to drag it through the front door. And then everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air.
You can leave it there. I'll take care of the rest.
What's... Without a word, Michelle approached her in the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere on his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box.
Go on. Open it up.
At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside this unexpected delivery. Whoever had brought it was already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was racked with nervousness, however. What she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food.
Is something amusing?
It was just rather anticlimactic. Here I was, worried about what might be inside.
We were just talking about the supplies in the cellar.
So we were. It completely slipped my mind. And this should last us for some time. It's all preserved, just like what was in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all this to you?
There should be a book in there as well.
What? Oh, there it is. In the library, he said that his family sends him one book a month. Does that mean this box came from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chose to be here?
Take the book to the library, please. I'll bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar.
But it's a big box. I'm sure you could use some help carrying it.
That won't be necessary. Take the book and go.
But
Fine. Then stay here. I'll take care of everything.
wait, hold on, please.
What is it?
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. And, I'm not trying to pry, but I can't help but be curious.
Say what you have to say, please.
I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you, perhaps, be imprisoned here?
I told you this the very first day. I am cursed. It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed house.
Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in the situation you are. I don't know how you feel about it. There's so much I don't know. And I'm not even sure if your curse actually exists.
I see. That is a perfectly reasonable doubt from your point of view. Haven't been branded a witch because of your appearance. It would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated, or perhaps a metaphor for something else. Alright then, come with me.
What?
I'll show you my curse.
As he turned on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. That smile, carved into his mask, was far colder than any look of annoyance or rejection. But, despite the twinge of nervousness, she still followed after Michelle. As much as he might have stood out in a crowd with such height and long hair, His presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. She felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment.
Many things are buried here.
Huh?
Mice, insects, wild cats and dogs. Have you ever thought it strange how little life there seemed to be around this mansion?
You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Now that you mention it, it did seem peculiar.
They were all killed by me. Or rather, they lost their lives because of me. You have your answer now.
A butterfly fluttered its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Michelle held out a finger before him, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drifted down upon its arrested wings. Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment.
All that comes into contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh and blood, is poison to all life.
But the butterfly's movements began to slow. It spread its wings in one last futile attempt to fight gravity. And then, without warning, it shriveled up into a dry husk. It's dead, all dried up and lifeless, like it's been dead for days. It's like his finger drained out all the life of it. Is this his curse? Is that even possible? But I saw it with my own eyes. If this is his curse, though, it explains much.
There are more than just insects and animal corpses buried here, too. Servants who came to visit me long ago.
Are here beneath the ground, under our very feet.
That's why the servants leave before I open the door. Should he touch me, should he get near me, his very life is in danger. No one is interested enough in seeing me to take that risk. No one will have anything to do with me. Nary a soul even wishes to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you. Oh, what the?
That's why you never once touched me. When I knocked the books down in the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up. And the only one of us ever made contact with the box at the entrance at the time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused. Because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine.
My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Others' interests mean nothing to me. What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real?
No, I do. It is certainly irrational, inexplicable, and unbelievable. But you've shown me more than enough evidence. And I don't believe you're lying to me right now either.
In which case, you now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left, you would be killed. But it's been some time since then. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you could make your escape. You do not belong here.
He was telling the truth about being cursed. Cruel burden to have to bear. I can't imagine just how much he's given up on. How many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain that loss must have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. How much sorrow must be weighing on him. So, no. I will not leave. I will stay here with you.
Leave this place.
No, I will not.
Why? Why do you insist in remaining upon this house, after learning what I can do? You have no reason to stay.
Then, why do you try to drive me out? If you don't care for others, as you say, if you're not concerned about anyone else, then what does it matter what I do? What does it matter if I die to your curse? You're a very kind-hearted man. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived, doing whatever you can to not inadvertently kill me, to not afflict me with your curse.
No.
Here's what I think. No one capable of showing genuine care for others can honestly, truly dislike all people. They can't possibly be indifferent.
No,
And that day we met before the stained glass window, you heard me out. You listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. And that day, I thought you to be a good person. And I still believe that.
I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. I never thought you would be so foolish as to want to stay in a house like this with a man like me.
How does that make me foolish?
Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant?
The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I could safely sneak away, get myself somewhere far from here. But even if I did, I would have inevitably found myself in the same situation. The only way I can avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone. To live in solitude with no one to talk to. I know you understand how that feels. It terrifies me. I'm afraid of having to spend day after day with talk to. I want to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings with.
Your mic is getting
Little.
very, very watery. Yeah.
Oh no, hold on.
Just give it a second. It's part of my curse, I'm afraid.
God damn it. Is it okay? Is it better now? Worse?
Oh wait, okay, say something again really quickly.
Something again really quickly?
There you go, you're good, you're good.
Woo!
Resuming.
Okay. I'm afraid of having to spend day after day with no one to talk to. No one to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings with. If that's what awaits me out there, then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life.
Impossible.
Please, don't chase me out.
You are a cruel girl. Never again will I allow myself to get close to someone, only to watch them die. Never again. My mother was the first to die. It happened shortly after my birth. Next was my wet nurse. 2 deaths could be considered a coincidence. But as the number rose, it became clear that I was cursed, and I was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being in the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Attendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake. I couldn't take it any longer.
So you chose to move here, to this remote mansion, to keep yourself away from your family. You weren't imprisoned here. You elected to live alone so you wouldn't hurt anyone.
For better or for worse, I was born into a noble household. So rather than abandon me, they provided me with the means to live out of sight.
I will be very careful. I will do everything I can to ensure no accidents occur. To keep you from being alone again. I will not, for any reason, touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes the life of anything you touch. I've been here for a while and death has not befallen me yet. As long as I do not touch you, there shouldn't be a problem. Also, and, I apologize if this is simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. I fear being utterly alone more than anything. And I think you understand just how scary that is. So,
Why are you so stubbornly insistent on being me? I'm sure there's someone else out there. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet, but I believe someone like you will eventually will. Because unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward.
has to be you. I'm certain of it.
Why?
Because, well, I,
You can't tell me.
no, I can, please don't get upset with me. I think I might really, really love you.
I'm gonna break it for a minute. Noir's response is very funny.
Wait, what's going on?
Noir said, "I've been touching you every single day while you weren't paying attention." Okay. Whew. Alright.
His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the unclean and the impure. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip a man and beast alike of its life. God has quite a cruel streak to bestow such a power upon a beautiful young man. And the strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale. Like something confined to words upon the page, it seemed otherworldly, unbelievable. Nonetheless, he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl his peculiar powers were indeed real. That said, the world has its fair share of oddities. It just so happens that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Although you have laid eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master, the doors to the past through which we have passed, this very mansion, and as a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Michelle acted in response to a proclamation? He had spent so long refusing to interact with others. No, unable to interact with them. As such, he was unsure how to respond. After standing there expressionless for a few moments, he muttered,
I'll consider it.
And with that, he returned to his chambers. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally do not believe he was completely devoid of emotions. He had simply forgotten how to express them in his extended solitude. So I think he was, in that moment, in a state of complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with a stream of incomprehensible declarations. Knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion. And that, knowing the truth, she loved him. The love she had declared for Michelle was not a fleeting puppy love. There was a genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. But he had gone through his life shunned, feared, pushed away. To him, that was normal. He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him. So he found himself utterly unsure how to take the affection she was showing. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair. Oh dear. Several days had passed since Michelle had asked for time to think. He had still yet to show himself again. This is all my fault. The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls, on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept a distance from his chambers. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact that he had secluded himself away for so long. So she worked up her courage and made her way to his room. What if he doesn't want to see me ever again? I didn't consider I might be overstepping my bounds before opening my mouth. Every step she took was slow and laborious. Her mind raced with worry and doubt. I should at least tell him I'm sorry. Rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, she was compelled by guilt and a desire to apologize. After walking for some time, she arrived at a door sitting in an utterly unlit hallway. She drew in a breath of musty air, then let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back, also doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was. I wanted nothing more than to give her a little nudge. After all, she was too sweet of a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced. I just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. But what's the point of waiting? I need to apologize and get the weight off of his back now. She gathered her courage once more, this time determined she would do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist towards the door, which then swung open. I'm sorry.
Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Are you in that much of a hurry for a mishap?
I'm sorry.
And I believe I told you to stay away from my chambers.
You did, so I spent a long time debating whether I would. But I decided I really wanted to tell you this.
Oh, well, actually.
I am truly sorry.
What?
The other day, I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth, and there was no room in my mind for anything else. I shoved my own thoughts and feelings into your face, not considering that might not be what you wanted, just running nonstop, not thinking at all. I was terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man, I truly believe that. But you were only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affections of a queer little girl. So, I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologize. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house. I'm sorry.
Don't be. No. My mind went blank for a moment.
What?
I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day you were firm in your intention to stay, and now you're saying you'll leave without a struggle.
You holed up in your room for so long that I thought, you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here, I do.
I think you should do whatever pleases you.
Huh?
You can stay, or you can leave. I will not pressure you to do one or the other.
So, I'm not imposing.
To tell you the truth, I had to think about that for some time. However, I have now come to something of a solution. Since you are here, come into my room.
What? But I thought I wasn't allowed to.
To prevent what almost happened a few moments ago. So we don't accidentally run into each other.
Sorry.
You are forgiven. Now come in.
Okay. Is this a necklace?
If that's what it looks like to you, then I suppose that means I succeeded. Pick it up.
It has a little bell. It's adorable.
Please make an effort to wear it while you're in the house. Because it's so dark, there will always exist the risk that we might accidentally bump into one another. So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk.
Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this?
That's right. What other reason would I have?
I think most people would assume it was because they had put you in a bad mood, or that you didn't want to see them.
I have little sense of how most people see the world.
Sorry. I appreciate it, though. I'm really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me.
It will be difficult not to after the other day.
I'm so happy right now. I can't think of any better word to describe it. I couldn't be happier.
You're being dramatic. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it.
Why?
It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. You're not livestock, you're a person.
That's why you turned it into a necklace? Thank you very much. I'll keep it on me at all times. I really, truly appreciate it, Lord Michelle.
Don't call me Lord, please.
Alright then, I'll just call you Michelle. And will you please call me Giselle?
Images are slithering into my head, replacing my memories before they can surface. Stop. The windows.
What?
If we could open the windows. Never mind. I was just thinking you wouldn't need the bell at all if we could get some light in here.
They can't be opened?
They're rusted shut. All the windows have been shuttered for as long as I've been here.
I assumed you had boarded them all up.
That was done long before I ever arrived. After so many years here, though, I hardly consider it to be an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers.
Oh, really?
Is there something odd about that?
No. It's just... I realized I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learn more, I see things in a different light. See you in a different light. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn.
Of all the people I've ever met, you are perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you have no aversion to the darkness, you...
The dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun. Its light can simply be a bit too strong for me. I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight.
You're anything but unholy. My name would suit you. Much better than me.
What a beautiful story. Much better than the real thing, is it not, my dear?
That day when I first saw Giselle, I was wary of her. Apprehensive. I didn't want her anywhere near me. But as my doubts about her faded, I began feeling something very different. As the lump in my heart had been melted away, I began to yearn for her to be at my side, knowing full well it couldn't possibly last, knowing full well how foolish it was. I found myself captivated by her. I found myself wishing to have her stay with me.
That marked the true beginning of their quiet days together in the dark mansion. They acknowledged and accepted each other's presence, no longer isolating themselves, but actively, regularly conversing. As mundane as it might seem, it was something they had been unable to attain until then. Nevertheless, they were still somewhat fumbling around in the dark with one another. Run it back, Master.
My mistake.
Thank you. Drawing closer and pushing away again. Michel, in his own ungrateful way, was beginning to open himself up to things she'd said. And the white-haired girl was beginning to smile with greater frequency. They had taken to dining together, and her wish of learning to read was being granted. He taught her in the feeble light of a candle placed upon the table, the two sitting across from one another. Though Michel seemed to be well educated, he had not been instructed in the art of teaching, so he found the process quite grueling. But to the white-haired girl, the longer it took, the better. Her primary objective was, after all, to spend time with him. The days passed, and eventually she reached the point where her comprehension was adequate enough without assistance. Her next request, then, was for them to read through a book together. Have you read every book in the library?
I'm just double checking. Okay, we're good. No. I stopped looking at them after a while. Most everything I've sent is dull, uninformative dreck. The Diary of a Lord, foolish make-believe tales.
You're not fond of fiction, I take it.
What value is there on the lies and fantasies of others?
Stories can be invigorating. Tales of adventure can take you places you could never go. Legends of heroes, folklore, stories of otherworldly phenomena. They can be terrifying, and they can be exhilarating. They may not be real, but they give you a little glimpse into the author's heart. Let you feel like you're seeing the same thing they saw.
You are a very empathetic girl. Fiction inspires nothing of the sort in me. However, perhaps long ago it may have been able to, though I can no longer remember what it feels like.
I'm sure it'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. Sorry. I'm making you uncomfortable again. How about we read this book today?
It appears to be a collection of legends.
You haven't read this one yet, then? That's good to hear. It'll be more enjoyable if it's a new experience for the both of us. It looks like it's a record of local legends.
The book is divided into several sections, though it appears to be mostly superstitions.
I am curious what kind of stories this area has. The two of them were looking down at a simple, undecorated volume. As the white-haired girl had said, it seemed to be a collection of local legends passed down from generation to generation. They sat across one another at the table, her turning the pages, and Michelle simply watching as to not brush against her. Eventually, her eyes were drawn to a peculiar word on one of the pages, bringing her hands to a stop. The witch. That chapter detailed the story of a witch, or more precisely said, witch's curse. The story went something like this. There once was a witch skilled in the dark arts. She lived a meager but peaceful life alongside the other villagers. But then a long drought struck the village, which the people blamed on the witch. The witch was sentenced to death, and as the fire blazed around her, smoke rose high into the air. The smoke soon became rain clouds, blessing the village with an end to the drought. The crops were revitalized, and the villagers fancied themselves heroes. However, the rain also brought madness upon the people. Though the earth below them was lush and fertile, the villagers were losing their minds. and they eventually began to take each other's lives. The witch still lived on, in the form of a curse. Many fell victim to the witch's curse, though it did not only take, it also fulfilled people's desires. The villagers had gone mad, but their wish for freedom from the drought had been granted. Thus, the legend had been passed down as follows. The witch will grant your wish in exchange for a great sacrifice. As smoke in the sky, she watches down upon us from above. To reach the witch, climb for the heavens. But know that road is a road to destruction. People still believe the witch's legend even now, I suppose. And that's why I
face accusations of being a witch. This is not an area very welcoming to outsiders, especially one who stands out as much as you. What brought you to this region in the first place?
Mine is a story I'm sure you've heard before. I was cast out of my house. I come from a very poor family. We could barely even afford to keep everyone fed. Being as weak as I am, it was only natural that I would be the first to go.
I see.
What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people's wishes. That is to say, she had a reason enough to hold a grudge, but not to give people things they asked for.
All we have to go on is a few pages. There's no saying what might have changed or added over time, and it's almost certain the entire legend isn't written here. That said, if we are to accept everything as written, you can infer what the witch's reason might have been.
And that is...
If you truly want it that much, then you can have it, but I'll make certain your suffering outweighs it. Despair that comes after a moment of happiness is far more agonizing than despair alone. I presume that is why the witch decided to grant people's wishes.
That is one way to look at it.
Sorry, I'm doing a log check. Give me just 1 second. I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything.
I think we're good for a while.
We're good for a while? Okay, great.
I think
Cool,
so.
Cool. Okay, good, good, gotcha. Did you get to say that line?
I think I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Nice.
May I ask you something?
Go on.
When I first arrived here, you told me that a cursed witch used to live in this mansion. After reading this legend, I'm now finding it hard to believe that you made that up simply to scare me away.
I appropriated the tale, nothing more. Is it that the witch was born in this house?
What?
Quite the place my family found for me. But it was a clever decision putting me here, I think. Not many people are likely to come near a house with such a pedigree.
But... no, never mind. That makes sense. I suspect I know what she was going to say then. If the witch is said to grant wishes, then wouldn't she also attract people who so desperately want something? They do not care what price they must pay. And perhaps she was correct. Perhaps there had been those who had come to the mansion chasing after the legend. And perhaps they had encountered Michelle, touched them, and lost their lives. On that day in the garden, he had said, "Many things are buried here." Perhaps that included such visitors. I wonder if that story might be more than mere superstition.
If the Witch of Legend really did exist, what would you do?
It might be nice to talk to her, maybe.
That's all? Really?
I feel a bit bad for her, though. The only people who ever visit her are there to ask for something, after all. I can only imagine just how lonely that might be.
I swear I cannot comprehend the way that your mind works.
Sorry.
Although, if we assume the legend is true, I have an idea what climb for the heavens might mean.
Oh?
The mansion has an observation tower. Or I suppose what used to be an observation tower. At any rate, it is quite a tall structure. This is the house where the witch was supposedly born. A tower reaching for the heavens seems like the perfect place to find her, if she really is here.
Oh, yes. I remember seeing a rather tall structure as I first approached the mansion.
Would you like to see it?
Of course. Please, lead the way. The two of them left the library and made their way to the room with the stained glass window. At the far end of that room were the stairs to the observation tower. The tale of the witch had piqued the white-haired girl's interest, inspiring her to put herself forward to satisfy that curiosity. She had, after all, been accused of being a witch herself, so she undoubtedly felt an affinity to the legend. What a sweet girl she was. With Michelle in the lead, the two climbed a long, long spiral staircase. There were many more stairs than the white-haired girl had anticipated, and she soon found herself short of breath. Rectangular windows were carved out of stone in regular intervals. Peering through one of them, she could see a village in the distance. A pleasantly cool high altitudes brushed across her face. "Excuse me, I need to take a moment." After much climbing, they finally arrived at the top, where a door made of partially rotted wood stood. Michelle pulled open the door, revealing a small room with no windows or doors in sight. This is the top of the tower. Despite it being called an observation tower, you could hardly observe anything from there. Her face contorted in confusion, and the white-haired girl threw her gaze about the room. Glancing up, she saw only a darkened ceiling, and slightly below it, a single small window through which shone a little ray of light. And the beam cleaved through the darkness like the sharpened blade of a beautiful sword. The darkness draped over the rest of the room only served to make more impressive that solitary ray of light.
Take your time.
I'm trying to catch my breath actually from running. I'm so sorry.
Oh. do you need a minute? Do you need a minute?
Yeah, please get us some water.
It's fine.
Oh
okay. Alright. We have fun here. And so you ran.
Ran so far away. Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, gotcha.
It had a magical fairy tale quality to it. As if being pulled in by it, she drew towards the light.
I suspect there was once a large window in this room. If you look closely, you can see seams in the stone of the wall. The color of the stone differs slightly on either side of the seams. I presume something caused them to seal off the window after it was built. Though I don't know what that something might be.
Michelle's eyes fell upon the white-haired girl, wrapped in that beam of light. He sputtered to a stop. The man who never flinched at anything, who had long since distanced himself from such stirrings of the heart, was utterly bewitched. He had never seen her illuminated so vividly before, and he was having a great deal of trouble finding the words to describe her striking beauty. For someone who had been chased out of her home and accused of being a witch, the white-haired girl looked less like a practitioner of the dark arts, and more like one of the hosts of heaven. Michelle undoubtedly felt the same way, for his gaze was affixed firmly upon her. Dazzling, isn't it? Like a staircase leading to heaven.
Yes, perhaps so.
Is something the matter?
No, I'm fine.
You know, it feels like there's something odd in the air here. It feels like someone actually might be listening.
If the witch were to speak to you, what would you say to her?
I would ask her to tell me her true feelings. Tell me what kind of person she was, and what kind of pain she had to endure. I want to know what she felt. This woman who people branded as a witch.
The legend was written from a neutral perspective. It's possible she was a fearsome witch. It's also possible she wasn't.
I get the feeling she was persecuted. Like me. Like me and you. Keep scrolling.
Yeah, I think we missed one extra too.
I'm gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Wait, are we
Yep,
almost there? Wait, hold up.
Yep, there you go.
Go.
As a bit of an aside, I'd like to share with you a little fact of life, my dear. Humans have a far greater capability to hurt, betray, and forsake others than they do to love, trust, and protect them. And that's precisely what the majority of people do. Yes, I believe you know good and well. No matter how much you may trust someone, they're still going to abandon you in the end. My dear friend, the two of us have much more in common with each other than anyone else. We both suffered at others' hands, and we both deserve to have our vengeance. Go on, what's the matter? Make this tale into your reality. Surrender yourself in this moment to this beautiful story, and remain in the mansion with Giselle. Watch in this moment, this dream.
Who are you?
Well, that's a surprise. You actually have a conscious mind. And are you aware of who you are? You know nothing.
Who are you?
Someone you once spent a great deal of time with. I must say, I am impressed you made it back here, my dear. Your soul was ground into dust. It, it will all come back to you eventually. And then I'll be there with you again, my dear, whispering into your ear for centuries to come. And this time I will not fail. I'll mold your soul to the same shape as mine. Like you and me.
Unlike you, I truly am impure. Disagree all you want, but my touch skills. I'm a strange, incomprehensible, irrational creature. Or maybe I'm not even a living being. And that's why when I touch something that is, I bring them death.
What a wonderful little show these puppets are putting on for us, wouldn't you say? If only I actually were a witch. If only I actually had some kind of extraordinary power. Regardless of whether it came from God or the devil. Then I'd be able to grant people's wishes.
Giselle? Giselle? My wish need not be granted.
But it's what I want too. I wish to be able to touch you. Indeed, that is Giselle. The white-haired girl standing there is Giselle. I would be perfectly content with nothing changing, with us never being able to touch one another. I would be more than happy with that. But I'm allowed to dream, aren't I? It doesn't have to be in this life. I pray the day will come when we can get closer, even if it has to happen in another life.
Happiness is very much a stranger to me. But am I allowed to dream too?
You are.
We once read a book together. It was by the fireplace. I will never touch you. I swear it. But I would like to dream about it. Like to imagine placing my hand upon your cheek.
You can. You did not. Those memories are false. Books belong in a library. Why would they be by the fireplace? You can. Reach your hand for me. I will imagine it too. I am imagining your fingers running through my hair, brushing up against my skin. I can feel your warmth. Curse them, slaughter them, revile them, inflict eternal suffering on all their souls. Take revenge on the fools who laughed as we agonized. And there was a wall between them, a wall they could not cross. Or if they did, it would mean the white-haired girl's death. No matter how much they yearned for it, they could not touch one another, so they did so within the confines of their imagination, envisioning it in as much detail as they could manage. It was sad, but sweet, a moment of pristine, untainted beauty, and the two of them emanated serenity. As fitting as the word cursed might have been to the mansion as a whole, at the top of the observation tower, a pure bond was being shared. A fleeting moment between a young man with a cursed touch and a kind-hearted, beautiful girl. The dream did not last long, no, for God is quite cruel. They simply wanted to be together, and that was all. Their wish was hardly unreasonable. Only a quiet, peaceful life together. But misfortune was creeping ever nearer, its footsteps growing more and more pronounced. Should we stop here?
Is there enough for Do you want to have a quick discussion about this in the chat before we proceed?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Quick interlude.
Talk amongst yourselves for a little bit.
Well, we've had enough lovey-dovey time for Fata, so I assume something terrible is going to happen.
What does it mean?
What
What is this red?
I assume the red is a meta like conversation, which is probably
I'm assuming the red's the truth.
Seems like it's some sort of observer.
It's an observer.
My assumption is that the master and the maid that are showing through the doors, those are them talking.
I have come to make a proclamation.
Possible, but
After a short B break, we will be continuing on because this chapter is actually relatively short. Oh, hold on a second. Someone else is throwing their hat into the ring.
I think I might need to cut out pretty soon, so I guess I'll catch the VOD.
Oh, alright. Do you have an idea of how much longer?
Do not know. Just
Like, will we get like half a stream of the next one?
I don't want to give anything away.
I mean, like, then we can get like Shelly and potentially Khan back.
Also, Rindy.
And Rindy.
Yeah, alright, fine.
Thank you.
We might be able to find something else to pick up, like, what leaves off.
I like to talk amongst yourselves, and then my mic just fucking doesn't work.
Like, yeah, so here, I will now disconnect Rindy because she's kind of out now.
Yeah, sorry, clinical, but also, like, we're gonna be, like, missing, like, 3 people.
We're
and
missing.
It kind of sucked to leave them out.
We're down 3 people. One of them is, like, I'm pretty sure 2 of them are asleep. One of them is sick.
Yeah, I know we're down Rindy and Khan. Was there one more that got dropped?
Shelly has to go because of work.
Well, not because of work. It's just
I thought it was work.
Shit. Yeah, my thoughts that I was gonna say before my mic rudely interrupted me. The damn you technology. Anyway, was them going to the room. They specifically noted it's almost like someone's listen. It's almost like they can actually listen to us up here or something like that. And then she like made like a wish, kind of like I wish we would have the chance to touch, even if it's in another life.
I think that there's like some sort of meta story going on.
And,
I think that it's gonna be like a adjacent to all a simulation. Like maybe it's an author is writing this, and this is like a coping mechanism.
Yeah. So if I were to take it like a not like a metaphysical, if I were to go for more like the most surface like reading of something ever, my approach would be, the whole thing listed that the witch usually will grant your wish at like the cost of a great sacrifice, and her thing was, I wish we could touch, even if it's in another life. So the great horrible like wish was basically that all the doors we have seen so far was the condition.
Yeah, if you're taking this like all the events as literal and actually happening, that could definitely be it. That definitely seems like it.
Yeah,
but I think that we're gonna get like this is actually like a person writing a series of stories in order to cope with a great, horrible, traumatizing event.
That theory makes a lot more sense if this is the first chronological
like,
events.
Like getting lost in your memories and fantasies.
This is the first events chronologically, then that curse could make sense.
I actually kind of majorly agree with AC's theory about like it being she made a wish, and as a result, one of that wishes were like, oh, I wish I can touch you, and like they're not necessarily related, but like essentially, I guess the stand-in for Michelle would be all the characters who were, I guess, the main leads in each door. Anytime they would come into contact, would essentially be the white-haired girl. Just absolute tragedy.
So I have to wonder, what timeline is like the present timeline? Because we're seeing a series of memories. What timeline are we currently in that is real?
What?
Well, we're going through a
one that the
series of.
master is in.
Yes, the one that like the current master is in, if that even is the real timeline, that might be not even the right timeline itself.
Are you using time? Okay, so hold on.
By
hold on, hold
timeline,
on.
I mean like what time period?
Okay, you should say time period.
Yeah,
instead, 'cause
time period, I
Timeline
meant
makes
to
it
say.
sound like you think there are multiple timelines.
No. I mean time period. What time period are we in? Because we saw like TV static, which makes me wonder if we are actually in a modern, like if the real time period is a modern time period. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Ugh.
None?
I mean,
Crickets? Okay.
Well, like I was gonna say something.
Okay.
So my personal thing is that like I find it so fucking. So first off, Alyssa does a switcheroo, and it turns out the maid and the white haired girl are one and the same person, and I don't think that's true. That's what it is. I was completely wrong on the fact that Jezebel was the maid.
You say Jezebel?
Want to try that again, sir?
It really works well because of what Jezebel is commonly used as a nickname for.
Jesus. Hold on. What was the fucking name again?
Giselle.
Giselle, sorry. Giselle, was turned out to be the white-haired girl. It's that entire theory I came up with it being the maid, I got thrown out the fucking window. I have more of a non-idea about the maid other than previously stated. I think she, unless like the white-haired girl is somehow in her in the same way, but like I can't fucking tell. Those are just guesses.
So I made a theory that if this, under the suspicion that this is like an author is writing these stories, like this might be like a simulation adjacent kind of story. It's being written by an author. I was thinking maybe the Purple Maid is a self-insert character as an omniscient, or whatever that word is, narrator.
Omniscient.
And a occasional, not Deus Ex Machina, but a occasional assist from God.
Oh yeah, the fucking static. That I don't know how to comprehend that.
Which speaking of like the static, I'm going to talk about something that really struck like it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Log only text, which was the text you could only see if you went back to the log.
I want to know. I also noticed that the rest of the log is just not there. They were
Log
replaced
is
with
just
X's.
dying. It's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Reality is collapsing.
My theory is maybe it's the thoughts that we're seeing in the log is like the exchange between like the master and the maid, and the master is like kind of having like a mental breakdown as like all the memories are coming back.
Are we doing the sequel or whatever it is like after this?
We are doing all of the content that is related to the house in Fata Morgana.
In order. Alright, cool.
Why would we do it out of order?
I was gonna say no, we're doing it out of order.
Originally, we were gonna do Syconia before Rose Gun Days, and that isn't even out yet.
Those aren't related.
In total.
We also don't know they're related at all.
Yes, but it's unfinished. So, and I thought that was weird that we were planning to do that before something that was finished.
Well, no, it got moved up indefinitely.
Yeah, that got moved up later.
And we're eventually at some point we're just gonna say fuck it and do it if it's taking sweet ass time. We're waiting for chapter 2 at the most.
Basically, I wasn't sure if we were going to take a break from Fata Morgana and then go back, or if we were doing it all in order.
Goodness no. We are running through this bitch. This is nowhere near as long as Umineko. There's no need to take a break.
Yeah, Umineko, as much as we'll love it, it has a problem with its length, and I will admit that.
Also, there are some book series that I know of that's like you want to take breaks from.
Umineko had a rough transition to 3D.
Oh my god. Anywho, that's all I can say right now for what's going on in the story. I'll be real, I'm just grasping at straws. I don't know where the fuck this is going.
Is that thing about 3D, is that a reference to something?
It's Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
I mean, to be fair, if you've seen Golden Fantasia, it had a rough transition to 2D.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah,
good.
like,
It looks great.
was hard.
Oh,
Rough.
it goes super
the manga's
hard.
great.
yeah, like Fata Morgana is like I so desperately want to see if I can try to figure something out, but like the hints that I've gotten so far, I can't. I'm having such a hard time putting anything together to make a coherent theory that isn't just I guess this.
My current bank is none of the stories we have witnessed ever happened. I think they are all fictional stories, even within the content of the fictional story.
I feel like a lot of this is either that they are trying to control the narrative of these stories on purpose to some effect, or that these stories are definitely a metaphor for something. There's some hidden meaning to these stories. There's a lot of these repeated themes.
There was that thing that the guy said, that Michelle said about why would I read fiction, yada yada yada. Why would I read fiction? And I feel like there's more to that. I feel like that's foreshadowing something, or is implying something. The nature of if these stories are real or not.
Shrimp-resting.
That is that. I think that's pretty much.
I'm
Anyone
certainly
else?
shrimp-rested.
Yeah.
If not anyone else, then I guess that's pretty much it from the gallery. Because yeah.
Wait, Sim?
But
Oh,
yeah.
Sim, fuck.
Wow.
Imagine forgetting.
This is why
You
we
are-
control.
You're only halfway down the list, Joshy.
I mean, we didn't even start the list.
Yeah,
we just kind of went off.
Yeah.
We have less people.
You guys dead ass wrested control of the fucking stream from us.
It's because you were like, you guys talked amongst yourselves for a while we figured this out, and they just kept going.
And that bled
I
in.
just went to go use the restroom, and then I come back, and everyone's going. I was like, okay.
Oh well, there's less people. Let's. Anybody
fine.
else have thoughts?
Sam, finish up. In
I
Crimson
thought it was interesting how that transparent sprite was what's her face? White hair girl, real name.
Giselle.
Giselle. Is that meant to be Giselle?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting how that's placed in such a way where it makes it look like she's holding the sword.
Wait, was she not holding a sword? I thought she actually was.
No, you were seeing the stained glass window behind her, but the way her sprite was framed, it made it look like she was holding a sword. Oh, so
Symbolism.
Symbolism.
Oh, so more of a personal thing. Not sure how I feel about hiding what is probably plot critical dialogue in the text log. Not sure I like that.
I wouldn't describe it as plot critical. It's just a nifty thing to see.
So, Sam, I will say what we have been told is that this is a pseudo mystery, and so I don't know how much that plot that dialogue actually matters.
I mean, it probably matters a little, or they wouldn't be showing it to us.
We'll also admit, as much as
And
it's
also,
cool,
it kind of destroys the whole point of the backlog.
I will also have
because
Sim here too, because it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, because you can't use the backlog for its intended purpose anymore.
Yeah, like the text gets utterly destroyed and you can't reread it back.
Is that a metaphor?
Who knows?
No, that's not really a metaphor.
I mean, we don't know yet, Crimson.
What does he know?
Does he?
Oh, what if he does, and he's hiding his fucking Google secrets from
What
us?
happened to Shame?
What was he cooking?
What is the dog doing?
Something perfectly mundane.
Well, anything else you got for us, Sim?
Not really.
All right, Crimson, you finish this
Everyone
up.
else already explained what I was feeling. I have nothing else to add.
Oh, well.
Well,
I can't believe we'll get to the thrilling conclusion.
On
I
Sunday.
can't believe that Michelle was secretly evil the whole time, and this is all part of his dark revenge scheme.
Dark Michelle moments.
I was waiting for there to be some point where there was going to be Dark Michelle tribute just waiting.
I thought you were gonna say
But
Dark
I feel like we
Machinima.
might have Dark Giselle moment coming. It feels like there's a lot. There's something more to this, and I don't know what yet, but it's something.
Do you think that red-eyed girl might not be pure?
I'm deliberately losing at Tetris. I'm sorry, everybody. Anyways, should I do the art reveal?
There's another
yeah,
art reveal.
absolutely.
Hell yeah, it's time for yet another art reveal! And
can't
it's one
wait.
I've been
It's-
waiting
Make
to
sure to
use
post it
for
in the
so
Discord, too.
fucking long!
It's
Is it
oranges.
Make
Yeah,
sure
it's
to
his.
post-
Why would
make
it?
sure to-
It's
I would.
me!
Yeah, I would be waiting the longest ass time too for mine.
Make sure
Yeah.
to post it in the
Speaking
Discord,
of which,
too.
what happened to mine?
We hurt you.
Oh wait, did you not get yours? Oh shit. Here,
He
fucking...
did not.
we
You want to
will-
hear the thing? I think I might have even seen mine.
It was there.
You posted it in an announcement. You never posted the raw thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That happened at like a really like awkward in-betweener section. Actually, no, I'm pretty... Did I just fucking forget to put it up
I
there?
have
Anyways.
no memory of it.
All right,
I
well,
have no
here's-
memory of you showing my artwork.
Well, here's yours. Bada bing.
Well,
There it
not
is.
my artwork.
I think it was
Artwork.
because it was a weird in between that we posted, and we meant to like do it after like.
Oh,
really
it's
soon.
him.
Yeah,
It's
Rindy's
him.
was posted. Yeah,
Whoops.
I know that. 'cause it's
Anyways,
written on the raw.
Oranges was also done by Ryuzi Sama.
I thought you said Ryukishi.
No,
Thought-
Ryukishi did not
I
draw
got
It would,
mine.
not look anywhere near this good if it was Ryukishi.
Apparently,
Hold on.
Ryukishi is doing art on Twitter commissions.
Hold
I
on
mean,
just
I
a
got him on
second.
speed dial too, but
I am trying to like I literally just downloaded the picture. Where the hell did I put it?
Oh,
There
word.
it is. There it is. I found
In
it.
your downloads?
It is actually in my downloads for once. Usually I download all my shit to my desktop distinctly. Hold up. Okay. Just gotta adjust. 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 A little bit more adjusting.
streamer adjust.
He has to flip
Oh,
it.
you look tired.
There he is! It's me!
Why are you so wide? Jesus Christ.
It's like the actual
Wow.
thing.
You can't
can
just
ask
ask
people why they're
Orange
wide.
that.
I think it's the coat. It looks like a smaller head on a wide body.
There we go. See,
You're
there
so
You
wide.
can't just say
Why
that about
Michelle?
You're about to eat Beatrice right there with the size of you. Oh God, he's thin.
There we go.
I swear I've
Off
seen.
for some reason.
Oh, I like it.
Oh no! Cue that wide poon meme song. What is it like? The
don't
how
know.
does that wide meme song go?
Oh yeah, that's
You're
right.
all
Me
fun.
going to my
Doesn't-
to my parents saying that I shit the bed or some shit.
Wait,
Well, the problem, Bone, is that like it's not like the part of the meme that plays it does not have lyrics.
No, what lyrics?
The meme song, yeah, it has lyrics in the song, but when you're playing the meme, it doesn't have it. Well, there you go. Fuck.
I think that just has lyrics at like the first 5 seconds though, and like never again.
Wide poon walking, but he's always in frame.
Unfortunately, I already what is it? I'm in streamer mode right now, so I cannot change my thing. But literally, the millisecond we're done streaming, I will change my fucking icon to this. Cause yeah, there's my thing.
I have a
It's
question.
me.
The
for you
original
after the
character.
stream.
It's me, the original character. Yeah.
Spread it all
He has a stripe.
Hey B, I got a question for you after the stream
Sure.
because it's not related to the stream.
Okay.
The stream.
Man, I
Alright,
can't
To
believe
Fata Morgana in general, but you know.
Okay.
I would put up Yuki Masa on stream, but also because of the fucking resolution of those files, it would be a huge pain in the ass.
I will say, Orange,
to
your
adjust
pet
it.
Candle is very cute.
Thank you, Candle is very, very happy that
Candle
you said that.
Chan.
Mm-hmm. Candle Coon. Alrighty then, that's going to be it for the day.
Wait,
We
did
will-
you show ACs on stream?
I don't remember, but if
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. But what else? Actually, yeah, that's right. So you didn't hear it today, but I got a fucking I got like a big professional XLR microphone sitting on my bed, and it's good. You're gonna hear that next stream. I'm gonna dedicate a day to make sure I get my audio shit right, because the audio software that I normally use to handle the audio for the streams is proprietary to the one that I'm using. So I have to find the replacement now. Fucking
I believe you get to
Elgato.
be Orange's guinea pig for an entire day while he pops in and out of voice chat.
It's true. Oh no, the audio stuff is gonna be something completely separate. Like, you just need to be able to fucking hear me, which I think I can. I know how to handle. I know how to handle XLRs. I had one for a little bit when I first started streaming. Alrighty then. Yeah, that'll do it. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Arrivederci.